Well, good morning, guys. As promised, I'm gonna start working on this beautiful little Volkswagen Buggy we just brought in yesterday. And frankly, I was gonna get a little bit deeper into work before I brought you in, but I just pulled the exhaust off. I gotta show you guys this. So this came out of the exhaust pipe, and then I looked inside the exhaust port, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if there's not gonna be mice inside this motor. This this is gonna be a very interesting engine dissection here, and yeah, I can't wait to tear into this to find out what the heck is possibly living in this thing. So I'm gonna get a little further on in the work. I'm gonna drain the oil, make sure there's no pieces of bearings in there, you know. Who knows what we're gonna find, but I'm gonna tear into this thing today and bring you guys along with me. So thanks a lot for joining me. Bye. Well, guys, I tell you, this is ugly. There was definitely water in here. That's the gasket. I can't get that screen out of there. Yeah, I would say this motor is going to be a mess. Ugly. All right, let's get to it. We'll see you in a bit. Well, guys, here she sits. Got rust on the rocker arms there. That's an old vacuum advance. Looks like that's been burning. Rusty carburetor. Old generator. Mouse has been living in the exhaust. Rust has found its way. And apparently turbo is smelling the goats that lived out there. What do we got in there? Looks like a Black Widow egg casting down in there. So yeah, all right, it's out. I'm gonna start taking parts off and see what I can find. Like I said, this is going to be an interesting little motor dissection here. All right, guys, I'll be back. All right, guys, well, I got this thing pretty well broken down, and it's to the point I need to get all the dirt off of it before I take the heads off. But you can see inside the intake ports, the exhaust ports, this motor's a mess. Obviously got water in there, all that white calcium deposits, rust in the rocker arms. Yeah, I don't know what this motor's gonna be worth. I'll know more after I get the heads off. See what the jugs look like, how rusted they are. It doesn't turn. So I just hope there's something left of the bottom end. Maybe you know, the crank and rods, they might be good. I don't know. Let's continue on. See what's with this thing. I'll be back in a bit. obviously we got one side of this motor that is just in really bad shape. A lot of water got into this cylinder. This side doesn't look too bad. This dirt here, I think, just fell in there when I pulled the head off. That side there, not bad. But boy, you get to this side, this cylinder is completely filled with dirt. Water got in there, dirt, mud. But this is very interesting here, because that piston was beaten to hell by something that got down in there. Looks like it dropped a valve at some point. But then you look over at the head, and you'd expect the head to be beaten up, and it's not. So I think that thing dropped a valve, somebody put new heads on it, and didn't do anything with the piston. So I was just noticing as I was walking over here, I thought I saw some light go through there. But anyways, so obviously to go forward with this, it's going to need a couple of new jugs and new pistons for this side, and the heads are going to have to get cleaned up and rebuilt. And then I'm going to clean things up, and I'm going to see how the motor turns. This is ugly here. This is what came out of the bottom of the motor. This is the screen. You guys watched me pull it off. That milkiness, that's water. Not a whole lot of water was in there, but enough it could have done some damage. But this is just, that is some grimy grit. Not sure what that is, whether it's just dirt that got in there. It doesn't look like metal shavings, so I think just a bunch of dirt got in there and settled to the bottom. So hopefully the internals are clean and not in bad shape, and I don't have to tear into the bottom. But we definitely need to replace a couple of jugs and rebuild some heads, and then replace all this. This is an antique distributor here. Everything here is just ancient. This carburetor will never be any good, and that's an old generator there. So we got to put an alternator on it. The clutch, we'll replace it, but it's not totally worn. That's another interesting thing that kind of made me think that someone got into the bottom end of this thing, because as you can see, this big the flywheel bolt there, somebody had a socket on there. Got to put a new pilot bearing in there. This is kind of gross, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the cylinders up and just see how that bottom end turns. Probably have to take some emery cloth to the one rusty one, spray with some WD, and see if I can't get this thing to turn around. So anyways, work continues. We're learning more every time. Well guys, I've gone about as far as I can without parts now. I managed to get this one cylinder off of here, and it is, as you can see, this is junk. So in the piston, it's got its share of scoring. Just garbage all the way down into that first ring, was all locked up. So this is junk. That one piston here, so minimum we need 2 pistons, 1 jug, and this is kind of concerning on this side. You see that line right in there. You can still, I mean, this, somebody did a hone job, or we got these, one of these guys, because you can still see the scratches. But that looks like somebody didn't clearance the rings right or something, and started digging into the cylinder wall there. So we're gonna have to re-ring the whole thing, that cylinder there looks fine. Like I said, you can still see the cross hatching, so, but those gouges, that's no good. So to get this motor together, oh, and I did feel the rod, the main cap, or the rod caps, that's nice and tight. There's no play there that I can feel. This a little bit more in play, but I suspect someone just didn't adjust it right. Somebody has been into this motor, and they probably just didn't adjust the end play right. So got to get this motor squared away. The heads, they got to be rebuilt, and then lots of accessories: alternator, carburetor, fuel pump, intake manifold. I mean, I'm not going to reuse this. That is just, that's a rusty mess. Look at that, it's flaking away in there. New clutch. So yeah, I'm to the point I need parts, and then we can get this motor put together, and that's going to be the start of that kick-ass little buggy there. So kind of played with the gears. It looks like the transaxle's okay. So everything here is pretty superficial. You know, why that column's not mounted correctly, who knows. The brakes, they will get, I'm sure, totally rebuilt. New slave cylinders, shoes, and all that. And but yeah, before we get too deep into the car, we've got to make sure we have a motor. So that's why I like to start with the motor. So yeah, all right, we'll get it together, but that's it for today. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, have a good evening. We'll see you.